Good morning students, teachers and friends who've came along. Today's presentation will be about multimodal murder mysteries, reader as detective. My name is Jack Downing and I'll be speaking today. I know I sound different, it is because I have a sore throat, so please discount that. Bailey Brunag was my partner with this assignment. So, in today's lesson, we will be talking about the famous crime fiction character, Sherlock Holmes, the first created version by Arthur Conan Doyle, and how Sherlock Holmes was portrayed, then when compared with his later versions, in the famous BBC series Sherlock and the official BBC website. I'll be talking about how the old texts have been adapted and made new for modern society, the evolution of context and convention from old texts to new, and how differently the engagement of the audience has been from the original text when compared to the modern adaptation. Multimodality is the application of multiple literacies within one medium. Multiple literacies or modes contribute to an audience's understanding of a composition. Everything from the placement of images to the organization of the content to the method of delivery creates meaning. This is the result of a shift from isolated text being relied on as the primary source of communication, to the image being utilized more frequently in the digital age. Multimodality describes communication practices in terms of the textual, oral, linguistic, spatial, and visual resources used to compose messages. However, the term was not defined with significance until the 20th century. During this time, an exponential rise in technology created many new modes of presentation. Since then, multimodality has become standard in the 21st century, applying to various network-based forms such as art, literature, social media and advertising. The monomodality, or singular mode, which used to define the presentation of text on a page, has been replaced with more complex and integrated layouts. Multimodality in the 21st century has caused educational institutions to consider changing the forms of its traditional aspects of classroom education. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of the original books about Sherlock Holmes, first published the study in Scarlet in 1887, with the tool of multimodality in mind. The main way to get people to read the story was to publish his book, in which he did, but back then he and many other authors didn't have multiple ways to release his book in his time by his choice, such as online websites, online audiobooks and more. If Doyle, and everyone else in his time, had access to multimodal media to spread his book, he would have been able to reach more people. He also would have been able to create a bigger fan base, which would in turn would have been able to create more whimsy and wonder towards the audience, like the famous BBC television series Sherlock Holmes, in which I will be focusing on episode 1, A Study in Pink. The BBC series Sherlock Holmes is a television series about Sherlock Holmes, spanning from July 2010 to January 2017, with 4 seasons containing 3 episodes in each. Main actors being Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes and Martin Freeman being Dr. John Watson. The main reason this series has been so famous, apart from being based off of Doyle's books, is that it was featured on television, reaching everywhere on TV for many masses to be able to watch. As this series is a multimodal type of TV series, its modality has been able to affect the way the audience has perceived it and responded to it. The multimodal choice for the TV series has changed how crime fiction is, as now that there are ways for people to connect and share ideas about the show, the audience, the people are now the detective with Sherlock, with clues, hints and questions and answers via Twitter, a media app, making people using the art of deduction to become a detective of some sort. Multimodality for the Sherlock series has helped the series become more widespread and has given people more ways to understand and take things from it, especially as it makes the audience think about the show even after they have watched it, making them think about it more. Since the Doyle original was in the era where technology was very primitive, he wasn't able to get the collective total success like what the TV series was able to achieve. With the combination of the BBC official website for Sherlock Holmes, his viewership was able to expand and increase their knowledge on the show by becoming a detective themselves. Convention is the usual or accepted way of behaving or doing something, especially in social situations, often following an old way of thinking or a custom in one particular society. In crime fiction, conventions are the criteria we use to judge which genre a text falls into. They are the features that we'd expect of texts in a particular genre, such as characters, setting, events and theme. With crime fiction being the main concept of convention, an example of this would be a mystery to be solved, preferably by us, alongside with the detective, where we expect things such as foreshadowing of danger or crimes being attempted to be solved with detectives, finding clues leading to an apex, red herrings and ultimately a solution to the crime, such as restoration of order and served justice. This quote shows what the conventional way was like when conducting a description of his art of deduction. As you can see, Holmes enjoys the mystery and likes when he figures it out, as you can see with him saying the fun of it is. The way that Sherlock's method of deduction was able to be adapted into the BBC series Sherlock is in the next clip.
Who are you? What do you do?
What do you think?
I'd say private detective.
But?
But the police don't go to private detectives.
I'm a consulting detective. The only one in the world that invented the job.
What does that mean?
It means when the police are out of their depth, which is always, they consult me.
The police don't consult amateurs.
When I met you for the first time yesterday, I said Afghanistan or Iraq. You looked surprised.
Yes, how did you know?
I didn't know, I saw. Your haircut, the way you hold yourself says military. But your conversation as you entered the room...
A bit different from my day.
Said trained at Bath, so army doctor, obvious. Your face is tanned. But no tan above the wrists. You've been abroad but not sunbathing. Your lips really bad when you walk, but you don't ask for a chair when you stand, like you've forgotten about it. So it's at least partly psychosomatic. That says the original circumstances of the injury were traumatic. Wounded in action, then. Wounded in action, suntan, Afghanistan or Iraq.
You said I had a therapist.
Got a psychosomatic limp, of course you've got a therapist. Then there's your brother. Your phone, it's expensive, email-enabled MP3 player. Well, you're looking for a flat share, you wouldn't waste money on this. It's a gift, then. Scratch is not one, many over time. It's been in the same pocket as keys and coins. Man sitting next to me wouldn't treat it as one luxury item like this, so it's had a previous owner. Next bit's easy, you know it already.
The engraving.
Harry Watson, clearly a family member who's given you his old phone. Not your father, this is a young man's gadget. Could be a cousin, but you're a war hero who can't find a place to live. Unlikely you've got an extended family, certainly not one you're close to, so brother it is. Now Clara, who's Clara? 3 Kisses says there's a romantic attachment. Expense of the phone says wife, not girlfriend.
She must have given it to him recently. This model's only 6 months old. Marriage in trouble then. 6 months on, he's just given it away. If she'd left him, he would have kept it. People do sentiment, but no, he wanted rid of it. He left her. He gave the phone to you. That says he wants you to stay in touch. You're looking for cheap accommodation, and you're not going to your brother for help. It says you've got problems with him. Maybe you liked his wife. Maybe you don't like his drinking.
How can you possibly know about the drinking?
Shot in the dark. Good one, though. Power connection, tiny little scuff marks around the edge of it. Every night he goes to plug it in to charge, but his hands are shaking.
You never see those marks on a sober man's phone, never see a drunk's without them. There you go, you see, you were right.
I was right. Right about what?
The police don't consult amateurs.
As you can see, his deduction analysis is very adept and quite proficient at it. With the modern multimodal media in talk, the use of camera angles and the jump-cutting techniques helps his analysis towards the audience impact on the way a viewer interprets his deduction methods, and the way that the original way able to be adapted in this series was very important with the evolution of how old texts are adapted into new ones, whether it be film, TV or new books. The Conan Doyle books were published when there weren't many multimodal ways to feature his books except for book publishing. The BBC series, however, it has the ability to use video editing, and in the next clip you will see it in action. In the clip you get to see the film techniques of visual graphics displayed over the video, or more commonly known as supertitles. This multimodal tool that has helped the series be new and improved when compared to the original, It also used the film technique of jump cutting from different angles, with different levels of zoom. This improves the audience's viewing experience and also helps create the feeling that the series is modern and up-to-date. You can also see that Sherlock enjoys this by showing a smile. He also refers to finding out who the killer is by calling it a game. With the BBC official Sherlock Holmes website in mind, it has also helped the TV series by multimodality. In this picture it shows characters from the TV show and describing traits about them. This is helpful for the evolution of the way convention of crime fiction is adapted from old texts. In the next picture shows an about page for Sherlock alongside a Dr. John Watson's blog. The multimodality of this part of the website is very important. This part of the website helps newcomers to the series to help them understand what it's all about and can help them decide if they will watch it or not. It also gives detailed information about where the series is from, citing it from the iconic book of Conan Doyle. The other part of this site is the Dr. Watson's blog. This makes the audience feel like the series is in real life and gives the audience a more connected feeling towards the series, and makes the viewers feel like a detective. All these methods and techniques in the original, the website and the TV series impact the way the crime fiction and mystery is portrayed and viewed, helping the audience be able to enjoy it to more detailed and extensive scope. It helps evolve the way that the audience enjoys crime fiction and mystery when compared to the traditional convention of crime fiction. Engagement is the act of turning focus towards something of importance or something of need. In terms of crime fiction and mystery genre, it is the audience engrossing themselves in the series, reaching out to extend their enjoyment and analysis of the book, series, through many ways to extend the enjoyment. In Conan Doyle's original book, since it was only published via books, there wasn't any other way to view and read it. People could have formed groups called book clubs to talk and discuss the books. Meanwhile, in the BBC series Sherlock, there are many ways for the audience to engage with others via multimodal medias. The next picture that will be shown will be of a Twitter tweet. The picture shows how many tweets, which are just Twitter posts, of which that were about BBC Sherlock, there are 377,182. This multimodal media tool helped the audience engage with the series by connecting people's thoughts with others, creating as many foreshadowing predictions as possible. This also helped the point where multimodal media helps the audience become the detective of their own story. The official BBC website engagement is very similar to the series engagement method. In this slide you will see on the website, it includes a tab called Sherlock Live. This tab is interactive in the way that it features live updates. In this slide you will see that the updates are tweets from the BBC One Twitter, which take people's thoughts, gives clues, and answers questions. This engagement of the website helped the audience's perception of the series through the website. Thank you for viewing Bailey and I's assignment. I hope you all were able to bear it.